I'm Amanda. This is my helper, Lillian, my daughter. And today we are going to be doing a lesson on what?
Fractions.
Fractions, equivalent fractions, right?
Yeah.
So do you already know what an equivalent fraction is?
Like with
You gotta think about it, huh? What if I told you that we could watch a video on it because we're going to answer some questions as we go through, help you learn what an equivalent fraction is?
that sounds like a great.
That sounds like she's interested. Okay, so the head puzzle is on equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are two different fractions that are actually the same size. Okay, so think about that while we are watching a little bit. It will stop you a few times to do some questions, okay? Hang on, I pulled up the wrong one.
Okay.
Oh, you're just taking a second. I'm just gonna give you a. Alright, okay, we're gonna do. This is my college grade, we're gonna flip to my teacher. And yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of that later. See something like this way. Notice that puzzle is only about 3.5, 4 minutes long. And because you're not in my Google Classroom for my 5th graders, you're gonna have to do the teacher demo, but you'll still be able to get all the information and answer the questions. Okay? And we can do it together? Sound good? Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Today we'll be learning how to identify and how to write equivalent fractions. Last weekend we saw these 2 birthday cakes and wanted to know which cake is their order. If we look at the cakes and ignore all of the slices, you can see we actually have the same amount in each cake. Now that might seem surprising, because if you write the fraction of this cake that we have, you can see it's been cut into 8 total pieces. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces left over. So we have 4/8 of this cake. But if we look at this cake, we can see it's been cut into a total of 4 pieces, and then we have 1, 2 pieces left. So we have 2/4 of this cake. So how is it that 4/8 is the same as 2/4? Well, these represent what we call equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are ones that are written differently, but are actually equal. 4/8 is written differently than 2/4, but both fractions are equal because they represent the same amount of cake. We could write as a number sentence that 4/8 is equal to 2/4. Now, an easy way to remember this is if you look at the word equivalent, you can see the word equal is inside of it. Equivalent fractions are fractions that are equal. So now that you understand what equivalent fractions are, let's practice identifying some of them together. Let's identify which of these models are equal, and then write out the equivalent fractions. Well, first, let's find which models are equal. Look for those that have the same amount shaded. Which models are equal?
Equal. Here with the mouse, so you can scroll down. Good. I need to scroll down too. You want me to get the mouse while you
If you
do
were to remove all of the lines, you can see this model and this model have the same amount of shading. That means these 2 models are equal. Alright, next, let's label each of these fractions. What fraction is this?
But it does so weird.
I'm coming.
So
What did I ask? Fraction is this? Is it 2/1?
One of the holes
Yeah.
looking at it.
Because that would be more than one whole, because one whole would be 1/1, right? So I don't think it's that one, do you? Yeah, that's right. So uncheck that one before you do.
Sure looks like it's right behind it.
it got it.
Because remember, the top number, the numerator, is always how many pieces are shaded. In this case, it's 1. And the denominator, the bottom number, is always how many pieces there are total. In this case, it's 2. 1 over 2. Okay, the top is what? Numerator and denominator. Very good. All right, go ahead, scroll down, go to the next one.
One piece shaded out of a total of 2. So this is 1/2. What about this model? What fraction is this?
Weird. You answer this one, what fraction is that? How many pieces are there total? How many pieces? Either the whole thing. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 4 out of 8. Very good. Blow your nose. Did you get it right? Great, great. The next one.
Well, 4 pieces are shaded out of a total of 8. So this is 4 eighths. What we can say is that these are equivalent fractions,
That's 2
and we can write that 1/2 is equal to
What's this?
4 eighths.
seconds and milliseconds.
Here's another problem for us to practice with. Let's get
Concept
started
that
by
I did
identifying
2-hour
which of
lesson.
these models are equal to each other. Which of them are equal?
Which ones are equal? I agree. Good job.
Well, if you ignore all of the lines, you can see this shape and this shape have the same amount shaded. This last one doesn't. And now we can write the equivalent fractions. Which of these is correct?
Look.
Does anybody know if there is or was a half cup measuring cup? A half cup measuring cup?
Well, this model has 1 shaded piece.
Or 1 cup, that would work too.
So this is 1/3. And this model has 2 shaded pieces out of a total of 6.
Good.
So this is 2/6. We write 1/3 is equal to 2/6. Now it's time for you to practice on your own. Identify which models are equal, then write the equivalent fractions.
Which ones are equal? Okay, so it wants you to pick the equivalent fractions. Very good strategy. Okay, so how many 12s is shaded in there?
Wait, if it's 9,
If it's in 12s, then there's 3 down. Yeah, 9 12s. So
then
half-
that's Nicholas.
that's very good.
If you look at these models and ignore the lines, you can see this model and this model have the same amount shaded. This one doesn't. This first model is 3/4. Then this model you have to count carefully, but it's 9/12. Therefore, you can write that 3/4 is equal to 9/12. Now here's one last problem for practice with. Identify which of these models are equal, then write the equivalent fractions.
All right, which ones are equivalent? Those. Okay, so what is this fraction? 2/3. Well, is this 1/3? So that's not right.
One,
This
two.
fraction. You sure? 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
6. So how many are shaded in? of those 6. 6. 2/3 and there you go, you got it.
If you look at the models and ignore the lines, you can see this one and this one have the same amount shaded,
That's the hard part
This model
sometimes,
is
isn't it? Ignoring
2/3.
the lines.
and this one is 4/6. Therefore, you can write that 2/3 is equal to
Like,
Or
if
six.
you're this
Great. Now you know how to identify and write equivalent fractions. That's all for now, and stay tuned for next time.
Good job. I think you've got a pretty good handle on this. Alright, go ahead and close this out. We'll come back to that later. The next thing that we're gonna do here. It's okay, let's play it here. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about, change this because I can't find the Okay, we're gonna do this again with.
That's not 4 out of 4, that's 1 out of 4.
Oh, that's right, but we're talking about equivalent fractions since you were reading my lesson plan. So if I have, I need water. Okay. Actually, let's put it this way. We will do it this way. Although, I think you've already picked up on what I was gonna say. We're gonna put here, okay? You're gonna use the measuring cups. Okay, so this measuring cup is what? What's
1
that?
foot.
1 foot. So that means if we had,
Quarter of that.
that is a quarter of that cup. That's what I was getting ready to ask you. You kind of jumped ahead of me. So you're right. So how many of these? One, you can read my mind. How many of these 1/4 cups does it take to make 1 whole cup? 4. 4. It's 4 out of 4, right? You want to test that with some water here? You do it. Would it be easier for you to pour from the bottle instead of the cup? Now that I'm thinking about that, but why are you doing it? You have to tell they're just okay. There's 1/4. Okay, now what's this fraction? 2.
And 2. And 4.
2/4, right, but stop, wait 1 second. How much of our 1 cup measuring cup is filled up by 2/4? Yes, good job, okay, keep going. So those are equivalent fractions, right? 2/4 and 2/4 and 1/2. There is how many?
3.
3
4.
3/4. You say it right, so I can hear you, okay, and so you can hear you on the camera. That's 1/4, it's okay.
Yes.
What is that? 4
First.
4/4, which equals?
This is a blanket.
I know, that's why I didn't grab it, I thought it was a towel. 4/4 equals what? I know, but answer my question. 4/4 equals
1.
1. What is
Add
this?
1.
1 up? Just 1, right, but what is this whole thing called? Let's label it. What are we working with? Is this 1 whole monkey
1 whole fraction.
of a, there we go. That would be weird if we were separating monkeys into fourths, wouldn't it? 4 monkeys.
I said 4 was
Oh,
not
I thought you
4.
said 1 monkey. Okay, good job. The next thing we're going to do is a thing with fraction strips. And here, you're gonna build some fractions of your own.
Sure.
Okay? What I would like for you to do,
Like equivalent? things?
equivalent, yes. Hang on 1 second, I wanna show this a little closer on the camera first. This is a virtual, fraction bars, I guess, or fraction strips, whatever you prefer to call them, from toytheater.com. And what we are going to do is we're going to have Lillian create equivalent fractions using what is up here. We have 1 whole, we have 1/2.
So 4, I can do 4 equivalents.
Go for it. You build your own equivalent fractions. You choose what you'd like to do. You want to work in fourths? So that's 1/2 of that bar, right? So how many fourths would you like to put
You're
there?
not putting 4s.
What are you thinking? Okay. How are you? Oh, okay. Wow, you took this a little bit further than I was planning on going today. So if we have 1/3 and 1/6 put together, that's the same as
1/2.
1/2. That's what you have to say, 1/2. Do you know,
That happens
have
to
you done this
me.
one? How to determine
We
what
just
this
have
fraction is?
to-
Because we don't say 1/3 plus 1/6. Do you know what a common denominator is yet? Okay, so a common denominator is when the two bottom numbers, the denominators, are the same. Because you can't add fractions if they have two different numbers on the bottom. So we have to get what's called a common denominator. So we're gonna change this 3 to a 6. Bless you. Okay, so looking at our sixes here, do me a favor, put a 6, however many you need below the 1/3. Okay, stop right there. 1/3 is the same as, how much?
6.
2 6, that's right. So if we take these 2 6 plus this 1 6, how many is that?
4.
No, just 3 6. So 3 6 is the same as,
1/2.
very good. You want to play with it a little bit more? Okay, build something else for me. Move on to our last thing. So 8 doesn't work quite the same, because that's a very different common denominator. Good. You too? What's up? That's gonna work out the same? Okay, stop right there. So 1/6 plus 1/5 plus 1/8 all together is the same as.
From the outside of your head and down, or like that straight.
You wanna do that now? Gotta figure out what the common denominator would be. Alright,
And then I'm going to fill in the other
so we're gonna, okay, go ahead.
This set is a 6.
Okay.
What?
I didn't do it on 6, I put it first.
Ooh.
Very good. Yep. Very small. You're right. Okay, good job. Alright, I'm gonna have you stop doing this.
Can I reset it?
Yeah, you can reset it. I think I have to do this. You're gonna need whatever, your pen over there for you.
I have.
Okay, good.
Yes.
You're gonna need it for the last thing, you get an exit ticket. Actually, you don't have to write it, you can just tell me since we're just not doing this in real school. And don't close this window because we're gonna need it for the next lesson that we're gonna do later, okay? All right, our last thing that we're gonna do is, I want you to tell me, I'm not gonna make you write it, it's not school. Tell me, what is one way to tell if fractions are equivalent? How can you tell if they're equivalent?
Well, Mrs. Fruits at school gave us little charts that we would use for fractions. And we would shade in the amount that she gave us and then find the equivalent, but look up and down at the lines to double check it.
Yeah, and how can you tell by looking at the lines to double check if they're
If
equivalent?
they're in lining with the shaded in part, that's how you know they're equivalent.
Nailed it. Thank you very much for helping me. Say bye.
Mommy.